The energy is mounting. Almost time for basketball at Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, New York. The Mavericks taking on the Nets. For the Mavericks, 2 losses through the first 3 games of the season. They want to even the score tonight. Nets, Mavs, coming up on 2K Sports. And a good Thursday evening to you. 2K Sports presents the NBA. Kevin Harlan here, and I'm joined by Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg with David Aldridge on our sideline. Hey, Dave.
Thanks very much. Now, guys, at the end of this season, there is a potential opt-out of the collective bargaining agreement. And after seeing star players hold out, some wonder if that will be exercised. Commissioner Silver says we have a common interest to ensure that contracts are honored. Those are issues we can approach collectively. Kevin?
As is always the best case. David, thank you. Now a look at Dallas's starting lineup. Up front, it's Finney-Smith at the 4, with Wood at the 5. At the guard positions, it's Doncic and Hardaway Jr. And it's Bullock in at the small forward. And for Brooklyn, the guard set is Irving and Curry. Simmons is out there with Warren, and it's Claxton in at the 5 spot.
And the question for the Mavs is simple. How do you best build around Luka Doncic? They'll try to answer that in the coming years.
Here we go. Will be the Nets off the tip. Here's Curry. That's going to be over and back. Not watching for the line that time. And Greg, it just seems for the Mavs, it's all about finding the right fit for the role players.
And that's why this team was willing to move on from Porzingis. Going forward, you can see them look a lot like the Harden era Rockets.
Doncic passes to Finney-Smith. Doncic outside. Pass to Bullock. Shoots over Curry. Dallas keeping it alive. A fresh 14. Here's Hardaway. And they call the foul, so he's got the and-one chance here to make it a 3-point play.
Well, I tell you what, energy and activity from Hardaway Jr. there, showing you exactly what it takes to keep plays alive.
And this is his first trip to the line tonight.
And taking a look back at last year's numbers, he's about a 76% shooter.
That free throw good from Hardaway. And while it's still very early in the season, the top teams, Greg, have already started to distinguish themselves across the NBA.
Getting off to a hot start, always a good sign. But don't sleep on the teams that are still getting locked in. A lot can change in the coming months.
Chalk up 2 there.
Well, I tell you what, Kyrie is an absolute magician inside. I mean, it's obvious that he works on his finishing, but he works on big guy drills too. That makes him even more impossible to deal with. I don't know if we've seen a better finisher in the history of the game that's 6'5" or short. Just 1 of 4 from the floor, not the start they were looking for here.
It's rebounded by Dallas.
Wide open, and still, surprisingly, he wasn't able to cash in.
Here's Hardaway. Drives to the hoop. He's off on that one. Curry with the defensive effort.
You know, currently they're just 1 of 5 from the field. That's not going to get it done.
Here's Hardaway. It's blocked.
And this quarter, he has clearly been off the mark.
And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. And last season, the Nets were a favorite to win it all. But Greg, a first-round sweep by the Celtics proved a very rude awakening.
And Kyrie's missing so many games. How about Harden wanting out? Hard to build chemistry and continuity. That has to be the focus moving forward.
Shooting 2.
And the first one at the line is good. The Mavericks, GA, have been trying to tighten up their defense the past few seasons, and it's beginning to show.
And we're seeing signs that the players are getting the message, that they're spending more energy at that end of the floor, and that's essential for any elite team.
And both free throws good for Curry.
He's as solid as it gets from the line. I mean, give him the opportunity. He's cashing in on those.
The 9-foot shot. Doncic with the bucket.
Boy, it's so impressive you see Doncic at his size handle the ball the way he does. As a defender, he can really put you on your heels.
Now, here's Warren. Curry wide open. And the Nets miss again.
Boy, I'm absolutely shocked he didn't get that one to go. Usually he's money from deep.
And yes, it's good. Hardaway's got 5.
Far from just a perimeter threat now, Tim Hardaway Jr. is also capable of converting inside.
Passes it to Warren. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Off target at the rim. Uncovered. Finney Smith can't get it to go.
He has to make that. I mean, you have to make the defense pay when they slough off of you like that.
And Warren with the basket on the assist by Irving.
Irving showing you he's a frame ahead of his opponent with that nice imagination on offense.
And Dallas calls their first time out of the game. Defeated by the Pelicans in their last game. They'll try to put that one behind them.
Yeah, I mean, on the road, their defense was just overrun. Couldn't match the intensity of the opponent, and it cost them.
And you know what, guys? It just seemed like they never really had the kind of energy necessary. They just weren't comfortable on the defensive end.
Substitution here for Brooklyn. O'Neal's checked in for Simmons. Harris comes in for T.J. Warren. Thomas checked in for Seth Curry. And Edmund Sumner's subbed in for Kyrie Irving. Here's Ntilikina. Pass to Bertans. Here's Ntilikina. Here's Dinwiddie. A three-pointer off the mark. After being moved at the 2022 trade deadline, Spencer Dinwiddie went on a tear with Dallas.
Yeah, I think he elevated the Mavs immediately with his scoring punch. He's a guy who can give you buckets in bunches and make plays for others. And not to mention knocking down back-to-back game winners, one coming against his former team. Yeah, I would say he was an injection of uplift for the Mavs.
Here's Sumner. Excellent D that time there from McGee. So it's Ntilikina who brings up the ball for Dallas. They're getting their first look of the season at the Nets in this one.
Yeah, and they took both games they played against this club last season.
I like this matchup for them. Not a cakewalk, not going to be easy, but they clearly have the advantage.
Here's Powell, rebounded by the Nets. This game coming after a loss against the Bucks.
Scoring efficiency was an issue in that one. Took them too many shots to get their points.
Yeah, and I think they just seem to be a page behind, a step slower out there all game.
Dinwiddie kicks to Ntilikina. Launches it. And the last shot before the buzzer is off. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. It's Dallas. They're up by 1. The second quarter coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere.
Let's go, everyone. I needed to get loud.
This has been a fairly close game for the first quarter, and we'll see what happens here in the second. And what do you think, guys, about Dallas here in this one?
aggressive at running guys to the backboard. You could tell it was part of their game plan coming in.
Yeah, and you know, when a team establishes an edge on the glass early, it really sets things up for the rest of the game.
And different games, different officials. Something that might be called a foul in one game, Greg, may not be called in the next. As a player, how do you adjust to that?
It's a great question, and that's part of being a veteran. I learned early on, you actually scout officials the same way you scout the players. They have tendencies as well.
The guard set is Irving and Curry. Warren is out there with Simmons. And it's Claxton in at the 5 down low. That's the Nets 5 as we get into the second quarter. And that outstanding drive and finish brought to you by Mobile One.
And you gotta love the aggression that he had, taking it to the rim there. Sets the tone in a close game like this.
Here's Irving after the made shot from Christian Wood. Shot clock at 6. Kleba against Simmons. Here's Claxton. The kick out to Irving. And there's the whistle. 3-second violation. You gotta love strong defense, especially when it comes in the form of harsh rejections. Wow.
A defensive play like that early in the game can go a long way. Establishes an attitude that you want to have during the game.
Mavericks leading by 3. And while we've got a moment, let's send it over to our terrific reporter, David Aldridge. David?
Thank you, Kevin. Well, Kevin Durant learned an important lesson at age 11. His dad cooked him one-on-one, dunking on him and talking trash. Durant started crying and he locked himself in his room, but he came to realize, what am I so mad at? It's good to be passionate, but channel it. Once you're off the court, leave it and go back to being you. Kevin?
Good advice. David, thanks.
You know, critics like to focus on this with Simmons, his jump shot, but he's really working on trying to gain confidence in that area.
Dinwiddie kicks to Finney-Smith. Doncic left side. 5 to shoot. A 3 ball. It's hauled in by Claxton. Brooklyn trailing.
And Spencer Dinwiddie has always been a great scorer, being used off the bench more and more. He has a great game to be a sixth man.
The Mavericks have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. Doncic dishes to Dinwiddie. Out to Doncic. Shoots from 12. Good on the shot. Doncic has got the lead up to 3 now for the Mavs. With Dinwiddie off the bench, he will always provide offense and ball handling.
A great point, Kevin. He can set up others, but usually looks for his own shot. Can be streaky at times with it, but when he gets it going, he can win you a game by himself.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
And team strategies closely guarded. One aspect of the game the fans aren't always privy to.
Yeah, typically there's some type of adjustment made out of a timeout. It might be major or it could be just a slight tweak.
noise for your Brooklyn Nets.
Substitution here for O'Neal's checked in for Nicholas Claxton. Joe Harris comes in for T.J. Warren. Thomas checked in for Seth Curry. And Edmund Sumner's subbed in for Kyrie Irving. Mavericks leading by 3. Here's Ntilikina. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line.
First personal foul.
Not afraid to get roughed up a little inside. Ntilikina gotta appreciate the fearless attitude.
2 shots.
Dallas shooting their second and third shots at the line right here.
Yeah, and fairly decent a season ago, about 77% from the line.
And he knocks down the first one. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. We've got 1:23 left in the second quarter. Outside Thomas. On the way, Harris. The pass to Sumner. Hardaway against Thomas. Over Hardaway. Out to Harris. Launches a three. Ntilikina with the rebound. Mavericks leading by 5. Pass to Bullock. Outside Hardaway. Shoots from 12. Dallas, no good that time either. The Nets have gone 1 of 6 from the field in the second quarter. It's been a rough period so far. Thomas passes to Sumner. Here in the second quarter, just under 3.5 minutes played. Good D by Hardaway. Mavericks have gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%.
You know, guys, we know Hardaway can score, but when he makes these passes, it makes him a lot more dangerous.
Simmons against Berton. Simmons with it. Nice fake, but the layup off the mark.
That's a surprise. I mean, really out of character for him to miss when the defense is not right up on him.
And so it's Dallas, bringing the quarter to a close with a 7-point lead. Their defense has been active and effective. We'll return shortly.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, basketball fans. What a pleasure it is to bring you into the 2K studios again. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. The first quarter for the Mavericks was fairly even. In the first period, their biggest lead was a slim 3 points. They went into the half with a 7-point lead after executing well in the second quarter. Shaq, what's your take on that?
Their efforts in the paint have really paid dividends. It's been a focal point for them, not so much for the other team. That's been the difference in the game.
Kenny, how'd you think the Nets were playing?
Whatever they're trying to do on offense, it ain't working. If they have any chance of coming back in this one, they're going to have to be more methodical in their approach. Talent without discipline will never result in sustained success.
And that'll do it for us. The third quarter about to begin with Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll catch you on the flip side.
My brother.
Turn it up, Nets fans.
And for those of you just tuning in, thanks for being with us. The second half of this game still to play. Nice game. Great performance by Tim Hardaway Jr.
And he was an absolute monster on the offensive glass in that first half. I don't know how you slow him down.
And you know what, guys? I think it starts with having a body on him every time a shot goes up. I mean, they've got to do a better job boxing out.
And we've got third quarter of basketball for you. 2 quarters in the books. And so Doncic will bring it up for the Dallas Mavericks. 7-point game, the biggest lead in the game. Getting underway in the second half. Here's the 5 for Jason Kidd. At the guard positions, it's Doncic and Hardaway Jr. Out front, it's Finney Smith at the 4, with Wood at the 5. And it's Bullock in at the small forward. Mavericks shooting just 35%. They've got to get better looks. And Doncic throws it down.
Doncic doing a nice job showing you some sneaky explosion and athleticism on that throwdown.
And looking at Reggie Bullock, boy, he's had quite the ride as a pro.
Yeah, he certainly has, Greg. I mean, he's been a lot of places during his 8-year career, but the thing I like, no matter where he's been and what uniform he's worn, he knocks down shots and does exactly what's asked of him.
Now, here's Warren. Just 3 to shoot. Shoots over Bullock. And the shot by Warren, no good.
You almost have to assume he's going to knock those down when he is that open.
And Doncic throws it down.
Big time flush by Doncic. Man, this young fella really has a lot of game.
Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively for sure.
Warren the pass to Claxton. Outside Irving. High post shot. It's rebounded by Dallas.
And out of the gates here in this second half, they have not started well. 0 of 3.
And Reggie Bullock gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul.
Seems to me as though he's lost his way a little bit in the second half. He'd been turnover-free before the break. That's certainly not the case anymore.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. JaVale McGee's checked in for Wood. Maxi Kleber comes in for Reggie Bullock. And Dinwiddie subbed in for Tim Hardaway Jr. Now here's Curry. And now around 2 minutes gone by in this half.
Ugly start to the second half. They've missed their first 4. They've got to get on track.
Last 2 minutes to play. Third quarter.
Doncic gets to Dinwiddie. Now, Kleber. He's been quiet so far. Still no points in the game. Goes back up. In deep, McGee drops it in. McGee's got the lead up to 13 now for Dallas.
They're getting on a roll inside. Their last 3 field goals have come from the paint.
Timeout called, the Nets.
Well, it's been an express lane to the rim. Coach can't be happy about that.
And, you know, I think he's going to tell them simply, we have to show more fight on the interior. That's the top priority right now.
Group substitution here for Brooklyn. Royce O'Neal's checked in for Nicholas Claxton. Joe Harris comes in for Simmons. Thomas checked in for Curry. And Edmund Sumner's subbed in for Irving. And then for Dallas, Mike Powell comes in for Maxi Kleber. And Frank Ntilikina's subbed in for Dorian Finney-Smith.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
And what I like about it, it's been a physical brand of basketball. It's had a little sandpaper element to it. Gritty and rough, but that's how you win games.
Here's Harris. The Mavericks making the shot. O'Neal inside, guarded by McGee. Here's Warren. That one falls. Warren's got his second basket of the night.
Well, I tell you what, I love watching Warren match the defense's intensity and still be able to convert. This is a hard-nosed, really good offensive player.
Offensive rebound. Powell finds McGee. And the layup is good. McGee's got 4 this quarter.
And offensively, they seem to have turned a corner.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but a much better half since they changed hoops. And they're really looking strong here.
Harris, no good.
Good offense squaring up against better D there. You got to appreciate that stop.
Here's Dinwiddie. Lays it up and banks it in. Dinwiddie's got his first points of the night.
Tell you what, guys, the aggressiveness on defense just hasn't been there this half. Not like it was in the first.
Steps back and shoots. Ntilikina with the rebound. Locked up there for Powell, and the dunk by Powell.
Got to give it up for Powell now. I mean, he excels at rising off the ground to punch home these alley-oops.
And so it's the Dallas Mavericks taking a 19-point lead into the break. And you have to credit their defense for the job they've been doing against Irving. Kyrie's been almost invisible out there, and we don't say that very often. We come back right after this. And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Coach Jason Kidd.
Good D, good pull. Understand something, one shot, one rebound, and let's go. We take care of the ball, get good shots, and get back on defense. Keep talking.
Efficiency, fundamentals, that's what I'm hearing from Jason Kidd right there.
Yeah, and there's a toughness to the way they're playing right now, and they're communicating. That's what Coach wants to keep seeing.
And we reach the fourth quarter in a game that may be already out of hand. The guard set is Irving and Curry. Ben Simmons is out there with Joe Harris. And it's Claxton in at the 5. So that's the lineup for Brooklyn. Here's Harris. Here's Claxton. Second chance shot. And the layup is up and in. Claxton's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Nets.
Well, I love the way he goes after it there. I mean, you've got to respect that. He's rewarded for his efforts of pursuing the ball.
Irving against Doncic. Dallas needs to get off a shot. Wood can't hit. Nets trailed by 17. Feeds to Simmons.
Really rare to see a guy that's 6'11" have the kind of elite passing skills that Ben Simmons had. Really, really impressive.
Doncic passes to Hardaway. Here's Finney-Smith. To the inside. Wood. Great pass to set up the lay-in. And the Mavericks lead by 17.
Boy, Wood is an absolute load coming down the lane. It's really hard to stop him coming out of the pick and roll.
Now a timeout call by Brooklyn. You talk about a defensive menace. That's Dorian Finney-Smith.
He has a knack for coming up with a big defensive play. Often lines up against the opponent's most important offensive player.
Let's go, everyone. I needed to get loud in here for your Brooklyn Nets.
Reggie Bullock, he's checked in for Maxi Kleber.
From the Brooklyn Nets.
Final quarter here, and we're just over a minute and a half through it. Here's Claxton. Irving surveying the floor. The pass to Claxton. Brooklyn needs to get off a shot here. Irving's shot is good.
I got a question for you. How do you defend Irving in the pick and roll? He's so quick, and his ball handling is so good. Absolutely, virtually impossible.
Passes to Bullock. A minute 50 left here in the fourth quarter. Drains it from beyond the arc. And the Mavericks lead by 18.
Relentless in their approach, even with the game firmly in hand.
And, you know, until that final buzzer sounds, I mean, you've got to treat every possession like it's crucial.
Curry kicks to Irving. Clock at 6. Throws it up high. Claxton, no good.
Yeah, and that was lining up to be a huge alley-oop, but they just couldn't quite connect.
And, you know, guys, always a tough catch on the lob. Placement and timing have to be close to perfect.
And it's Bullock missing. Nets have gone 3 of 6 from the field so far in the fourth quarter.
Hey, this was exactly the kind of game Coach wanted to see from them. High effort, great play at both ends, gets the win for Dallas.
And, guys, the fast break was run, I thought, beautifully all night by these guys. I think that was a big part of their success.
Yeah, they definitely ran the break well, a big advantage in that category, and they continually put pressure on the defense.
And so with this, they'll end up with their second win on the year.
And looking at the trajectory of the season, this is the first of 2 meetings on the year. So this will be a solid win to go up 1-0 in the season series here against the Nets.
The one player that really stands out, of course, in this one, it was a dazzling game for Luka Doncic.
And, you know, there was no stopping him tonight. Whenever he got the ball, he was looking to score, and rightly so.
Irving can't hit. Now the Mavericks with it. Right side Hardaway. Back to Doncic. Bullock kicks to Hardaway. On the wing, Doncic. Guarded by Simmons. And Doncic gets it to go.
And credit the whole team. It was a focused, concerted effort to put this one away.
Yeah, what a time to put the hammer down. Any hope of a comeback? Diminished.
So no problem for Dallas as they get the win to come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight. Says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
Yeah, I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
And now let's go over to David Aldridge from the sideline for an interview with our player of the game. Hey, David.
Hey, Kevin, thank you. Here with Luka. You got the W, so what did you think about your performance?
You know, we got to win against a team that's very competitive. You know, they go hard no matter what. You know, they're a great team. And, you know, I'm just glad we got to win. And we got to keep going like that.
Hey, man, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Back to you, Kevin.
David, thank you as always. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan along with our terrific 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.